Welcome back to the Unity obstacle course tutorial. Right now we are going to get into creating respawn and death logic. So on the left side we have this player script that we are going to be implementing and finishing up, and on the right this is where I've already implemented this logic. So the first thing we want to do is grab the death and respawning variables. So we have 4 variables, and that is we have the respawn time, we have which is a float, so that's going to be 2 seconds. We have whether a boolean to decide whether or not the player is dead or alive. We also have a vector 3, which is the spawn point, and we have a quaternion, which is a spawn rotation. So we need to also get into it and explain something else to understand how this death and respawning is going to work. So in Unity, there are 2 different methods for kind of initialization of the script and of the game, and that is the start and the awake methods. So when a scene first loads in, all awake calls will always happen before any start calls happen. If one script should always be initialized before another, you would awake on that script and start on the other. Awake will happen as soon as the script is initialized, whether it's enabled or not. On the other hand, start will happen on the first frame that the script is enabled. So awake is kind of like your cold boot. So before you wake up, you stop dreaming, and then when you wake up, you get out of bed and you start. So that's kind of like how it works a little bit. So after this, we need to get into kind of creating this spawn point logic inside of the start method. So we're going to copy and paste this into here, and it's very basic stuff, just setting the spawn point and setting the spawn rotation on the start of the game. And that's just very basic, and it's inside of these variables that are already there, and you set that in the inspector. And so then after that, we need to declare the death method. So we have this die method, and we're going to throw this underneath the update method. And so basically what we have to kind of understand here is just it sets dead to true, and then it invokes this method. So this invoke right here, this is how you call methods after a certain amount of time passes. So we have the respawn wait time. So after 2 seconds, we're going to call the respawn method. We haven't implemented the respawn method yet, but inside what this invoke method does is it finds the method call that has the name respawn, and it has to match exactly that string inside that's called inside this invoke method has to match the exact spelling capitalization of that method respawn. So then we're going, and this basically calls the character controller enabled. And so basically what this script does is it basically just resets the information. It takes the player game object and it disables it. And then we also have to call this respawn one, and this is what's going to re-enable our player. And so it's set active true, character controller enabled true, trans dot position. It puts you back at the original spawn point, sets your dead to false, and then it sets the spawn rotation, everything like that. And so after that, what we can basically do is since we don't have any game logic currently to kind of like another NPC or just an enemies to like that to disable our character by losing the game or anything like that, we're just going to add in a little bit of some key logic in the update method and call input.getKeyDown_keyCode.t, and that will then call the die method. And so after that, we need to also declare 3 variables to reset the spawn information, and that's kind of like what we did in the start and other things like that. And so that's just kind of basic stuff that just resets our spawn rotation. We added all that stuff in there already, but so basically after that, we're gonna head on back over. We're going to save this, and then we're gonna head back on over to Alright, so here we are. We're going to demonstrate what we just implemented. So we're going to run the game, and then we're going to look at the top left right corner, and we see it updating, and then we are going to press T, the player disappears, and then it resets the positions back to 0. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.